After the snow had melted, it became really dark. It was around 0 degrees. Some days it rained, and some days a thin blanket of snow. But it would melt and disappear after a couple of days. The days are so short. We have about 4 to 5 hours of decent light, and the forest is even darker. The temperature started to drop and we were just waiting for the snow. But last week, winter truly arrived. We've been living in the house for 4 weeks now, and the mornings are always so cold. The average temperature outside is around -20, and we have to make 2 to 3 fires a day to keep the house warm. Squirrel activity has completely dropped. The squirrels don't seem to have any interest in the food I provide. I think this year has been a very good year for spruce cones, so that's great for the squirrels, but not for my photography, and so my recent attention has focused on the small birds from the guest bedroom window. Winter is still quiet and peaceful. Recently, I haven't seen many squirrels at all. They're definitely still active in the trees and eating the spruce cones, but they don't come to the ground very often. But when they do come to the ground, it transforms the forest. The squirrels stayed for a couple of minutes, but soon went up to the safety of the trees. I thought this squirrel was Dada Elf. I realised it was the first squirrel I met this year with the dislocated finger. And looking at old photos, I realised I'd already met this squirrel. I only saw the squirrel on one day last year, and he held up the exact same finger. So this is actually a new squirrel, and it's also not Dada Elf. So unfortunately, this means Dada Elf has disappeared. He might have moved on to a new habitat and created a new territory, or he might have been predated on. Although I name squirrels and form a close connection with these animals, it's important to remember they are wild animals and they have an important place in an ecosystem. They have an important job in foraging and caching food, and as a result, moving and dispersing seeds across the forest. But they are also food for foxes, goshawks, and eagles. Squirrels are excellent ambassadors for the forest. Although some of my favourite squirrels have disappeared and I probably won't see them ever again, I will continue to stay in the forest and meet the new squirrels that move in. Ghost is the only squirrel I have rediscovered coming back to Sweden, and now we have a new squirrel. The male squirrel with the dislocated finger needs a name, so I'd love to hear your suggestions, and perhaps when I next see him, he can have a name. If you'd like to learn the stories of all the squirrels I've had the pleasure of getting to know, my 2022 calendar features 12 individual squirrels, and each month is a new squirrel. And at the end, I share my top tips for how to locate squirrels, identify individuals, and how to photograph them. So if you'd like a year of squirrels, They're available on my website. Thank you as always to my wonderful patrons who support my content and my photography, and thank you for all the support on the previous video and the house. I'm thinking of doing a Q&A about the house because I've received lots of questions about buying a house in northern Sweden, moving to Sweden, so I might just answer that, so you can drop any questions below. The next video will be a bit Christmassy, so I'll see you then.